All right, now for this episode, we'll be talking about the Brisbane Heat. We're going in reverse ladder order again. They're the second last team from last year, and they had the number one draft pick, so there's plenty to talk about. Let's get into it. Yes, hello, welcome back to the Surges and Sixes BBL SuperCoach podcast. I'm your host, Braino, and I'm joined by Horse and Deadly in the studio, and we're here to talk Brisbane Heat, Deadly, and they had the number one draft pick. There's plenty to love. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of really fantastic SuperCoach options this year too.
Yeah, very excited to speak about the Heat, and especially their number one draft pick, Shaheen Shah Afridi. We know how good this bloke's been in all forms of cricket, and now coming over to the BBL for the first time. He's probably just a bit too good for this comp, isn't he?
Yeah, look, I mean, we'll show you his T20 international stats a little bit later that'll back up everything you've just said. Horse, there's some fallen guns in this team, though, this year as well.
Yeah, very, very excited to talk about the Brisbane Heat. Finished second last year. There was a bit of a form slump amongst a couple of them where not just fallen we got fallen primos, but bottom dollar cheapies that I think are going to make their way into our squad sooner rather than later.
Definitely. A lot of options. The schedule's nice. We'll talk about that soon. But guys, hit subscribe, hit like, give it a thumbs up, hit the hype button. And if you're listening on audio, give us a follow and add a 5-star review. It really helps us get the show out to more people. We've got plenty more planned coming your way in the preseason over the coming 5 weeks leading into BBL 15. Now let's chat. Let's talk about the ins and outs for the Brisbane Heat. They've gained Hugh Wiebgen from the Sydney Thunder. They've also got Shaheen Afridi, like Deadly just mentioned. Pakistan have been lovely to not screw around too much with the no objection certificate this year. And to be fair, this year from BBL 15, I think there's only 3 imports across the whole league that aren't available for the whole tournament, which is awesome. To get the number one pick and a guy like Shaheen Afridi of his quality horse to be able to play the full tournament is awesome for the league.
Oh, it's going to be exciting to watch, isn't it? When you're talking about a Gabba deck that can provide a lot of pace and a lot of bounce and occasionally can be a little bit green too. So you get the sideways movement as well. It's going to be exciting to see him running in, bowling 150 clicks.
And Deadly, do you see Hugh Wiebgen playing a role here? Obviously, we saw a little bit of a taste of what he could give us last year at the Sydney Thunder when he got his chance.
Yeah, 100%. He had a good knock from memory where he partnered Dam Sands, won them the game. He's shown some flashes for sure, young bloke. Potentially a nice little bowling increase as well. Nice move up the order. It'll be between him and Lockie Hearn to get sort of the last 11th spot. It'll be between them two. I think just with Wiebgen's potential bowling ability, they'll go with him. But we'll talk about that in a sec. But yeah, he's a guy we might have having a quick talk about at 58K.
Yeah, very cheap in the Mac Harvey realm. So, yeah, we'll definitely talk about him at some point. Now, the outs, of course, they do lose Mitch Swepson, funnily, from captain to gone. He's over to the Stars. And cult hero Paul Walter. It makes me sad to say it. He is not here. But, Deadly, you did mention he's playing a little bit of club cricket in Melbourne at the moment. There's a chance for a recall.
Yeah, I think he'll be back in the BBL before too long, once an import goes down or an open import spot loads up. Because Tall Paul, he's playing on Australian decks. I think teams will be interested, especially what he's produced for the Heat over the past few seasons.
Yeah, perfect role guy, isn't he, Horse? And we know how much carnage comes from injuries, preseason games, and just changes to squads, international players coming in and out, overseas tournaments as well, like the ILT20 is only keeping a couple of players out, like we mentioned, but things change pretty quickly in the landscape of the BBL.
Yeah, they definitely do, which is why people need to go down into our description and click the link to our Patreon so that they can keep up to date with everything that goes on at all times.
Good shout. Let's have a chat about their predicted 11. Now, Colin Munro, McSweeney, Renshaw at 3, Tom Alsop with the wicketkeeper gloves, Max Bryan at 5, Hugh Wiebgen at 6, Wildermuth at 7, Neser, Bartlett, Afridi and Kuhnemann are the bowlers here in this lineup. They go pretty deep when it comes to overs, overs bowled in this team. So it'll be interesting, like you said, to see if Wiebgen gets a crack. But talk to me, Horse, what's the appeal here for you with this 11? Because, there's a couple of real cheap guys. We're talking sub 100K that can put up some pretty good numbers.
Jack Wildermuth, anybody? Do we dare, Deadly? You had some stats on him, didn't you, from the last time he actually played?
Yeah, well, he's currently in my team, mate, so it's a bit gross. But last time Jack Wildermuth was relevant would have been the 2020-2021 season when he averaged 50 and was the 32nd ranked player in the whole database. So definitely a guy who can produce when given the opportunity, but he's just never really shone. He's been in the league for God knows how long now, probably going on 10 years, and just never had a real good crack at it. But he's once again a perfect role guy to where if he starts off hot, we're going to be looking at him very, very quickly.
Yeah, and look, we'll bring it up again. Jimmy Pearson misses out here. Lachlan Hearn, you mentioned, and Ollie Patterson are probably the options there. The rest of the guys are either injured or unavailable due to test selection. Kawaja and Labuschagne, they won't be there. They'll be with the test squad. So, yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? But him and Michael Neser have seemingly competed for the same spot, haven't they, over the last couple of years? And obviously we know where that's going to go. Can you fit them both in, Horse?
I think you can now that Spencer Johnson's got an injury and is probably done for the majority of the BBL. So when you're looking at the Brisbane Heat lineup, Neser, Bartlett, Afridi, like that's pretty nice as your top three bowlers, all international quality fast bowlers as well. So yeah, it's looking really nice there for the Brisbane Heat. Then you got Kuhneman who can really tie down at an end as well.
Yeah, they have a lot of depth. Shaheen Afridi's a fantastic death bowler. He's going to get... And can you imagine him steaming in on a Gabba pitch with the bounce that he's going to get there? That is going to be genuinely frightening. Absolutely frightening for opposing batsmen. We'll talk about Shaheen Afridi very soon, but the schedule for the Brisbane Heat, it is quite nice, at least early. Now, they don't have a bye, very similar to the Adelaide Strikers, but they do have a double in round 2. My question to you, Deadly, is how many Brisbane Heat do you think you should be starting with when you know you're leading into a double? You can't trade for them, obviously, in week 2, but how many are you going to start with?
Me personally, currently, I have 3 in my team. I think you can easily start with 2, but maybe even 1, really. But I think there's 2 guys that we haven't yet really touched on, but they're so undervalued for what they can produce that I feel like you just got to start with them. And Michael Neser and Xavier Bartlett.
Yeah, they're playable guys on a single. That's the beauty of having them in your team, is that they're guys you would be more than happy to have and cop their points even on a single. You know, we saw what Xavier Bartlett did last year and the year before. Michael Neser, let's chat about him first of all. He had a bit of a down year last year, Michael Neser. He is that dual position. 93k for Michael Neser, just unheard of. He scored 30 runs, 200 strike rate, 4 poles, got smoked everywhere at 11 economy rate, averaged 41 with the ball. And that's just not Michael Neser, Horse. It's just not what we know of him. He's a, international caliber player. He is getting on a little bit now. But in saying that, he still has the same role. Nothing will change. I think he'll still open the bowling. He might bowl 3 up front. He might bowl 4 up front. We've seen them do that a fair bit when the ball's swinging. He is usually the guy that just bowls all of his overs up front. So
100%.
And we've got him down here in the batting order at 8. So there's still opportunity for him there too.
Those runs that he made last year, I reckon he opened that game as well and made 20 odd.
He did. What a time. That'd be nice if they can throw him back up there, Deadly.
Yeah,
93k though is almost a you need to pick him. Like, I don't like using the word must have, but he's got to be pretty close.
Yeah, I think you got to. Like, you look at his last year stats, and he only was available for 4 rounds coming into the campaign with a hamstring injury. So only played the last 4 rounds. Came straight against the Thunder, played all right with the ball. Then he faced Adelaide at Adelaide, and I don't know if you remember, boys, but Adelaide chased down a huge Hobart total on a absolute flat track road with Matt Shaw getting 100 not out. And so Neser's obviously not going to score points there. And then played Hobart, who just obviously won the whole thing last year, looked like the best team ever. He got smacked around by Mitch Owen and then took 2 wickets against the Renegades to finish off the season. And honestly, those 2 write-off games, whatever, I'm happy to not even look at them and just take it off the average of the other 2. And it's already back up to 150 his price without even a full season. So I think Neser's got to be picked.
If you're not picking him for points, you're just picking him for cash. Like, either way, it doesn't matter how you go. Like, he's going to score your points this year, but he will make you money. There's no way in the world he stays this cheap. Michael Neser. So, yeah,
No.
definitely a near must-have guy. As is Xavier Bartlett, you mentioned at the start, Deadly. 128K, started at 207K last year, mind you. 48.7 average, so again, another down year, but he took 12 poles at 27 with 4 catches. Just didn't get the runs that he got the year before to propel him up to that price point. How do you see this playing, Deadly, for, Xavier Bartlett? We probably consider that we're getting him unders at the moment because he did get slapped around a little bit at the back end of the campaign.
Yeah, I'm finding it really hard to not include him in my team. I was looking at Xavier Butler started last year at 207K, so if you told me that he'd be 128 coming into this one, I would have laughed at you. But, mate, he is in some unreal white ball form at the minute. He took 6 wickets for Australia in the T20Is against India. Looked real good. It's really hard for me to ignore him, especially with that Heat double. A guy I can guarantee playing a single and maybe even keep for a good chunk of the season too. Playing the Renegades round 1, who I don't really have too many high hopes for this season. I think he's a perfect guy to start with and build your team off that.
Xavier Bartlett, Horse, is the guy that has that skill set as a bowler as well that will get him to bowl at all 3 stages of the game. Like, he can pick up the ball he bowls a new ball, he can pick up the ball in the surge, and he can also bowl really handy death overs with a good slower ball, good cutter. He's just got the ultimate bowling skill set.
Yeah, he absolutely does. I'd really, really rate him as a bowler, and I'll actually go as far to say that when it's time for Hazelwood and Stark and that to pull the pin, Bartlett's probably the next sort of wave in line that he'll be one of the next bowlers for Australia.
Yeah, rate it. And I can tell you right now, he's going to be one of the first picked in brain ball this year for BBL SuperCoach. He'll be playing.
He's going to. My prediction is he is the top wicket taker this season. I reckon it's in the form he is in and the bowler that he is on with Brisbane's run. It's going to look good for him.
I think it was 2 years ago, he took 21 wickets. I think him and Spencer Johnson took like 21 and 20 or something when the Heat obviously went nearly all the way. And he took 12 wickets, and that's still good. Like, 12 wickets in 9 games is still pretty solid outing for most players, but it's unders for what we'd expect of him. So let's have a chat about Shaheen Afridi. Now, for anybody who doesn't know who he is, I'd urge you to go and just look up some YouTube highlights. 152, he comes in at max import price. That's his T20 stats, 122 poles at 21 with a 7.7 economy. That is insane numbers in T20 cricket, Horse. Like, this guy is just an excitement machine. Pakistan have freed him up to play the whole tournament. He bowls absolute gas as well, and bowling that at the Gabba is going to be an absolute nightmare.
You've summarised it pretty well there, Braino. There's not much for me to add except for go and watch these clips if you don't know what he's about, because the BBL is a better place and a better tournament for having the calibre of play that he is in it.
And lastly, Matty Kuhnemann, Horse. We'll stick with you, mate. 75K, 28.6 average. He took 7 wickets last year, 8.9 economy, which is really impressive for a spinner who bowls through those middle overs, isn't it? Like, he's not an what's the best way to explain? He's just a meat and potatoes cricketer, isn't he? Just does his job.
What it says in the tin. He is.
Yeah. He's the grey man. He just does his job, gets through his overs, picks up the occasional wicket, but knows how to tie down an end and complements the other bowlers pretty well as well. So when you've got your Bartletts and your Nesers coming from the other end and they're tying up an end, then the batters, sort of have to get after the likes of Kuhnemann, and that's where he picks up his points for us in SuperCoach. He's quite smart with the ball.
Now, in this predicted lineup, we don't have a second spinner. I mean, maybe Matt Renshaw is the second spinner in this case, which makes him an interesting option if he does get some overs. But Matt Kuhnemann now not having Mitch Swepson, Horse, is that
right.
Maybe is that a positive or a negative for him?
Huge positive. Huge positive.
Yep. And he's always the tie down guy, right? He's like we just got to get through Kuhnemann and we'll go at Swepson, because they often bowled in tandem last year and the year before. Now they've got to make a call on where they attack. Do they still just sit on Kuhnemann and then attack the quicks? Because they've got some pretty economical quicks too. Xavier Bartlett's hard to get away. I can guarantee you've only got half a second to find out where Shaheen Afridi's putting it.
Well, we know we know how well the Indians are at playing spin and at attacking spin, and yet he was the primary off spinner in Australia's T20 squad in the last series. So I guess that speaks enough about the man and what his calibre of cricket is at T20 level.
For sure. Deadly, is there anybody else that you're liking here? Like Matt Renshaw, we spoke about him last year, and if he's bowling, you've got to look at him, don't you?
Yeah, it's good. It's a bit of a weird one, just bouncing off the back of Kuhneman, who the second spinner could be. We've seen Renshaw has bowled in the BBL before. He has bowled some spin before. Hasn't really done it the past couple of years, but potentially that's an option they look at. Hugh Weebgen, potentially an option they look at as their second spinner. We know Nathan McSweeney has taken the ball a couple of times, so they've got guys there. Mate, if Renshaw is that second spinner and they do decide, especially on some spin-heavy decks, to bowl him 2-3 overs, at batting 3 at his caliber in some good form again, he's hard to ignore. And with the double in round 2, might be one of the batters we look at for the Heat.
For sure. I guess, we haven't really highlighted too many batsman-only players, have we, Horse, over the first 2 previews? Talk to us or talk to everybody watching about the reason as to why we're focusing on bowlers or all-rounders so far.
For sure. So with batsmen, ladies and gentlemen, you get one good rock and you're done. And if you're a batsman and you're not bowling, then that's you done for the day. Let's throw Colin Munro up, for example. He's very much rocks or diamonds. In the last couple of years, he's been pretty ordinary. Hasn't been able to get away with the bat. And realistically, he does nothing really in the field. He's got an okay set of hands, but doesn't field in those dangerous positions. So you're really banking on these guys to make runs to score you SuperCoach points. So when we're looking at SuperCoach players or players of interest for our teams, we're looking at all-rounders, people that bat and bowl, so you've got multiple ways of scoring your points, people that field in dangerous positions or positions of threat, so your long ons, your long offs, your deep mid-wicket, or I like the Matt Short, the short cover where he's taking catches and causing run-outs there as well. So when we're looking at these sorts of players, they're the guys that you want to target. Your players like your Colin Munros are ones that I would steer away from 100%.
It's a shame because Colin Munro's left a bit of a sour taste in everyone's mouth after the absolute Barry Crocker that he had all of BBL 14. Mm-hmm. So, BBL 13, he was fantastic. Everyone's talking about how amazing he was. So it's funny how just recency bias just really kicks in and, hurts your thoughts on a player. But he's an international quality player anyway. He'll be fine.
I was ready to buy Colin Munro before the app even opened up. I saw Colin Munro's stats for last year, and I was thinking, oh yeah, Colin Munro, he might be an option at 58k, but since he was in the draft, nope, back up to 117.
Rough, isn't it? Yeah. Hopefully, well, we were hoping that they were going to get priced on last year's score, not to be, sadly. Yeah. But that is the Brisbane Heat. Now, of course, we've still got 6 more team previews to come. We're going to be doing positional deep dives as well on the cheapies, the mid-price value guys, and the primos that you're going to need in your team. So plenty more content coming your way. Hit the subscribe, the like, the follow, the review, the hype. Do all those things for us if you do like the show and you want it to get out to more people. We would appreciate that. And if you want a little bit more from us, as in you want to get a WhatsApp chat where you can ask us questions whenever you want exclusive access to the Patreon Q&A that's going to be happening live before round 1. You want to ask us questions about your team every week. You want to see our final teams as well. They're only going to be inside the Patreon. So all of that, link is in the description below for less than $10 a month for the full season. If you hang around until end of Jan, yeah, it's $30 and you've got the whole season. So worthwhile investment if we can get you up the ranks there. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you for the next team preview. We'll catch you then.